what we're going to do now is look at the types of AED unit. Now there's loads of different brands on the market, but first let's look at AED units generally. Now people who are going to be using one of these have probably never used one before. So it's a good idea to do training with as many people in your company as possible, or if it's a community or something like that, you can train people locally as well. So training is really, really important so that they can understand what a unit is and hopefully take some of the fears away from it. Now you can do that training as a face-to-face classroom session, as a blended session where you use some e-learning and some classroom for doing the practical part, or for example, we have a whole video range of courses you can complete so that you could roll those out to every single member of staff. So not only just the first aiders would know how to use one, but every single person would, because you just never know who'd have to use one of these. So with the AED units themselves, they're made in a way that they guide someone through with no training whatsoever. So they'll talk to you. So the important thing with the AED units is to make sure that you just trust it'll work. Now, one other thing you can do, obviously you've called 999, they will stay on the line. You do not have to just hang up the call. So pop your phone on speakerphone and they will talk you through what to do. So you might think, well, I don't want to do, for example, breaths. Well, you don't have to. They'll talk you through just doing compressions. Now, even if the AED units voice prompts tell you deliver the breaths, you can just do chest compressions. That is allowed. Now, if you're trained and willing to do the breaths as well as the chest compressions, we recommend that you do both of them as per the current guidelines. So, yeah, although it might be a scary subject to think about using one of these, then they are quite straightforward. Now, from a risk planning point of view, part of your first aid needs assessment will be looking at what type of AED you're going to need, and also who's going to be using that AED unit and what sort of training you're going to be doing. So these are all sorts of things to consider. But what we're doing now is just briefly have a look at this. This is the iPad SP1 AED unit, just to show you what a typical AED unit would look like and just really to reinforce how simple it is. Good thing about this range is you've got literally 1, 2 and 3. So they're very, very simple process to work through. So 1, just showing you to turn the unit on. 2 will be pad placement, and this graphic here will light up to show what to do. And 3 will be the analysing, so it'll tell you when to stand clear of the patient and when to touch the patient. And then this button here is the shock button. So literally just push that button and shock. Now, there are 2 key types of AED units. There is a semi-automatic AED, which is what this one here is. A semi-automatic AED will go through the whole of the analysing cycle, but you have to push the button to deliver the shock. Now, if the unit tells you to deliver the shock, then deliver the shock. The unit is detecting the shockable rhythm. It will never shock someone unless they need it. So don't delay, hit the button. The other type is a fully automatic one. So it will still go through the same, checking the pads, the alignment, telling you to stand clear, but this will deliver the shock automatically. So depending on the brand, it might say delivering shock in 3, 2, 1, shock delivered. And then it will say it's safe to touch the patient. With those AED units, it will not have a shock button because the unit will do it automatically. The key thing is you've got to make sure you stand clear. So that is a really simplistic way these AED units work, but because they're talking to you, then it follows through. Make sure that someone is checking these units as well. So once you've chosen what brand you want, then come up with some kind of plan for checking them. So have some appointed people that maybe every Monday morning, they'll check the AED unit. Maybe the same person who's doing the fire alarm checks. That's always a good thing. They'll do visual checks on the unit, make sure the battery indicator lights, there's no faults with the unit. But also you can make sure that you put out in your risk assessments that if you hear the unit beeping, it might indicate that there's a fault with the unit. So generally speaking, come up with a plan on who's maintaining them, who's checking the AED units, but throw that out to pretty much everyone. Maybe an announcement out to all your staff, to tell them to spend some time and have a look at it, or even just pull them aside for a few minutes just to show them what the AED unit is, and maybe sign them up for some of the courses. So if you need any help choosing an AED unit, please get in touch with us, and also any different types of training, whether you want on-site training or video e-learning, we can help you with all that as well.